If you haven't heard already, Bitcoin's at about $60,000. What's up everyone, George here, and today we're talking about why Bitcoin could still be a great buy right now. I know what you're thinking. Bitcoin's way too expensive. I already lost the boat. It's sailed. I am done. I can't buy it anymore. It's too expensive. But let me give you some history first. I followed Bitcoin for a good amount of time myself. I remember the good old days when Bitcoin was about $300. And I was like, that is way too expensive. I remember at 30. Fast forward a couple years, 3 grand. No. I'm buying Bitcoin at $1,000. Fast forward a couple more years, Bitcoin's at $10,000. I'm not even touching it at $10,000. I'm waiting till it goes to 3 grand again. Do you see the cycle that's going on here? Now I'm thinking about those good old days where Bitcoin was about $10,000 and how cheap it was. It's $60,000 right now. 60. You know how many times I kick myself for not buying it at 300, 1,000, 3,000, and now 10,000? And some people are even predicting Bitcoin hits $1 million. Sounds absurd. But with the way the Federal Reserve is going, just printing that money out, giving us those stimulus checks, keeping interest rates low, and somehow inflation not going through the roof, something's bound to change, right? Something's gonna crack. This all can't be this perfect ideal world. One of the checks have to balance. We can't just print money forever with no repercussions. And that's why I think a lot of people are buying Bitcoin right now. They're saving their money. They're putting their value into an asset, even if it's a digital asset now. Everything is digital. Logan Paul's selling Pokemon cards of himself for $3 million. Why is Bitcoin so crazy to people still? It's a hedge against inflation. Basically, they're betting against inflation to save their money, like I said. For those that don't know what inflation really is, I'm going to super simple example. Take a banana. Banana cost $1. You worked hard for that $1, right? All of a sudden, because of inflation going up, that banana is worth $2, but you're still only getting paid $1. So that banana just doubled in price, but your dollar is now worth less because before your dollar could get you one banana. Now it can't anymore because inflation, things got more expensive. The dollar lost its value. Now that was a super simple example of inflation, but you get the gist. So more and more people are now putting their money into Bitcoin to prevent that inflation because Bitcoin doesn't really inflate. It's its own currency. So people are putting their money into Bitcoin as a safe haven. And I know you've probably seen it just like I have on TV where government officials are like, guys, don't put your money into Bitcoin. It's super volatile. It's not safe. It's inefficient to make. Inefficient to make. Have you guys ever heard of gold? I have. I've actually have some gold, right? But why is Bitcoin so much more inefficient than gold? Do you know what it takes to find gold, to make gold, than to shape it? It's a super inefficient process, yet people still do it to preserve their wealth. Bitcoin, for those that don't know, has this thing called proof of work, where basically you need to prove that you mined a Bitcoin, digital mining. Now, what they do for digital mining is they get a fancy computer, not even that fancy anymore, it's just like hardware plugged into a wall, and they complete complex puzzles, and these puzzles yield Bitcoins. Now, it's not an infinite thing. There's a finite amount of Bitcoin, but they're just mining it through these algorithms. And from doing this, they actually help the whole blockchain work. Them processing these algorithms keeps the system in place. And the main thing it takes is power. That's the inefficiency of Bitcoin. It takes power. The proof of work is energy. That's what it costs to make Bitcoin, energy. So why is it okay to spend a lot of energy, gas, resources, and whatever to make gold, but it's not okay to spend resources to make Bitcoin? Why? Because it costs energy? That's why renewable energy is a thing. When we have this infinite energy cycle, then Bitcoin's even cheaper to mine. And then sometimes we have all this excess energy we don't use that miners pounce on. So instead of just not using it, they use the excess energy. So in my opinion, the whole Bitcoin's inefficient, it's going to vanish, it's going to go to zero, is just the government really afraid of its potential and not really understanding what Bitcoin is, because Bitcoin is actually a threat to the government. It's a global monetary system and it's not regulated by anyone. And you know, the government really doesn't like no regulation. They like having some kind of say how things go. But the big question you're all here for, is it too late to invest in Bitcoin? Not even close, in my opinion. invest in crypto. It's an amazing space. It might be kind of daunting because there's cajillion amount of coins, but have you ever gone to the stock market and seen how many companies there are? I don't know half of them. You probably haven't heard of half of them, but we still find those picks that we trust, that we do the research in, and that we invest in. Crypto is the same thing. Find those 5, 10 coins that you really want to do your research on and invest in those when you have a better understanding of them. And remember, is Bitcoin too expensive? If you would have asked me a year ago, I would have told you $10,000 is way too expensive. Wait for it to retract. I can't even wish for it to go to $10,000 at this time. So it's better, instead of missing that boat, slowly invest. And remember, you don't need to buy an entire Bitcoin. $60,000 for one coin is a lot of money that most of us don't have. You can spend fractional amount. You can spend as much as you want on crypto. That's the glorious thing about it. Yeah, stocks have fractional shares, and so does crypto. You can own a percentage of a coin. If you only have $100, you can invest that into, let's say, Bitcoin, and own a fraction of Bitcoin worth $100. So don't be scared that, oh, I can't afford that $60,000 coin because I only have $100. You can own a portion of that coin for $100. People are saying by the end of the year, Bitcoin will hit $100,000. $100,000. And they're estimating in 5 to 10 years, $1 million a coin. You really don't want to miss out on that opportunity. That's why there's so many questions, because the potential is unheard of. Something going from fractions of cents to $1 million is crazy to understand. But that's the whole amazement of cryptocurrency. It provides us a feature. It takes out that middleman. It makes you important because you are part of the system now. You're not just using it, you're part of it. You own a Bitcoin, you are part of the system. You mine, you're part of the system. There's so many things you can do. And the biggest thing is, it's not regulated. Yeah, can it be manipulated with people with a lot of money? Of course. But there's no regulations in saying, you have to do this, you can bet against this, and you can't do this, because it's all based on the perception of the public. It's what the public wants. It's the public's currency. And that's why the government is so afraid of it, in my opinion, because, like I said, they can't control it. And that's why people will really put their money into it, because they can control it. They can control their own outcome with their money. But there's so many questions. So the best things you can do is really invest diligently and do your own research. So you guys investing in crypto, in a certain cryptocurrency, or are you sticking to Bitcoin? Let me know in the comments below. Remember guys, at the end of the day, I'm just some YouTuber. Do your own research and don't invest what you can't afford to lose. Thanks for watching, and I will see you guys next time.